Oh, hello. I didn't know you were here. So, I'm getting in tune. I had a little calamity yesterday after filming the last video, or day before yesterday. I heard a big clatter, and my cat, Liza Jane, had jumped up on my table here and knocked it over, and knocked my psaltery in the floor, of all things. Do you see this? Do you see this hitch pin that's bent? That obviously was where the psaltery hit the floor when that happened. Yeah, that may break on off. I don't know. May be replacing that pin, and more than likely will. So if it does break off while we're going through the next few videos, so be it. I'll fix it. Not a problem. got it in tune so far, and I don't know that we'll use it in this first video, but we definitely will use it in the videos coming up. So, playing by ear. Why not? Playing by ear, playing from memory. Is that a better way to put that term? Is when you're playing by ear, or do you have to know the tune in your head as you play? You've got to learn the song, got to hear the song, and you've got to learn that melody. So playing from memory, you memorize the tune to play. If you don't do that, I don't think you're going to be able to play a song from memory or by ear. So definitely is something that you have to play from memory. And that goes for the bowed psaltery or any instrument that you might want to play by ear. I've always heard play by, he plays by ear. He can play by ear. And I thought, well, that's true to a certain point, but I've memorized the song, and I know the song in my head. So that's just the part of the process, and that's what we're going to talk about in this video, and probably the next few videos. It's going to be on the learning process of playing by ear. Now, this is the method that I use. It's what works for me. Other folks may have a different method, but I tend to use or learn enough about music to make it work for me, for what I need to know. I'm not educated in music. I didn't go to college and have a degree in music. So some of the terms that I may say may make some people upset. They may say, well, why did he say it like that? It's just the way I say things, and the way I teach things, and the way I understand things that's just the way I have learned it over the years, and the way that I use it to play the music that I do. So this is my method. Don't get mad at me if you hear me say something that's really out of whack as far as using the correct musical term, because I may not have any idea what I'm talking about. We'll find that out as we go, but that's okay. So the bowed psaltery, playing the bowed psaltery by ear. That's the main thing that we're talking about here, but some of these methods would work for other instruments. It doesn't have to be just the bowed psaltery. The good thing about the bowed psaltery, though, is that if we're going to learn a song in the key of C, now what is the key of C? To me, the key of C, the C major scale, I think it's called, or as you may have heard it. See, there's I'm not sure if that's correct or not. But anyway, the C scale, starting at the C on the psaltery, and then playing up the scale to the next C, an octave higher. So all those notes in between is the C scale. So that's what I'm going to be dealing with for every song that I learn to play on the psaltery. Um, I'm just going to be worrying about that scale. It may be going into the minor scale. We'll talk about that a little bit later for songs that in a minor key, like Wayfaring Stranger. That's a really good one in a minor key. We'll kind of pick our way through that. Um, but the C major scale, that's what I use to learn to play every song I want to learn to play on the psaltery. I don't care what key the song is in that I've heard. If I've heard someone else playing it and they're playing in a different key, doesn't matter. I'm going to learn it on my psaltery in the key of C first, just to get it in my head and get that tune in my head and be able to play it and sound it out on the psaltery. For me, it's the most simple way to do it is to find all the notes of the song in the key of C. Just like if sitting down at a piano with one finger and playing just on the white keys on the piano and find a tune, sound out a tune so it sounds right in your head, regardless of the key that it's written in. If you read music and you've got it written in the key of G, um, that's fine. A lot of us don't read music. I don't read music. I can read enough music to get by. I've done that for years, but it ends up being the process of learning and memorizing a tune. Even when I took I was in the band in grade school and part of high school, played the trombone, so I learned to play that. Um, Sang in the choir in church. But anytime we were working on some special music, we, of course, had our music in front of us and the director. The first time you heard a song and you were looking at it, there were some folks that could sing every note. They could sight read, and they knew what they were doing. Old Rick didn't do that. If you if you were sitting by old Rick, you didn't hear him make a peep for a little while until I heard it enough and I felt comfortable singing some of the notes. Eventually, when you practice, and boy, that's a good word, practice. You practice enough and you go over the songs enough, it starts to come to you in your head, and I would learn from memory. I wouldn't sight read. Now, I would use that music. I knew enough about music to know as far as the timing and how long to hold certain notes and things, and use that as a guide while we were singing. But I knew the song in my head. Um, I had learned that song by ear from memory. That may be a strange thing to bring up now that I'm 65 years old, that I've sang and played musical instruments all my life, but I don't sight read music. There's folks that can, and that's great. They do a good job at it. That's something I never could do. So I've always gone through the process of learning to play a song from memory. So same thing on the Bode Psaltery. So every song I learn or want to learn to play, I play it first in the key of C. If I want to move on to a different key of D, like playing along with dulcimers, key of G, just whatever key, the key that it's originally written in, so I could play along with a recording of someone playing. I'll worry about that later. I'm going to learn it in a simple key. The most simple key to learn it in for me is the key of C. So I stay mostly on the right hand side of the psaltery. There's going to be exceptions. There'll be a note where you have to reach to that left side. Ojo Clark has got that B flat that you have to reach across for when you play Ojo Clark. Da, 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 reaching across that B flat for that note. So there are exceptions as far as staying on the right hand side of the instrument, but overall it's still key of C, and it still is makes it simple for me, and that's what I want when I'm learning to play an instrument. So the C scale, C major scale, and any scale that you play, I call it the do re mi scale. Do re mi fa sol la ti do. So for C, let's see what the first note there is. C. Do re mi fa. So how did I know where to go with the next note there when I'm singing? Do re mi fa sol la ti do. That's getting a little high. And how did I know where to go? That do re mi scale is that C major scale that I've learned on the psaltery, that I've heard all these years. I've got that in my head. That's something that you have to find on any instrument. If you're going to play a melody or harmony part on any instrument, you have to know where that do re mi scale is, regardless of the key. And that goes for any instrument that I play. The first thing I do is familiarize myself with where that do re mi scale is. Now I'm again calling it the do re mi scale. Oh, Rick, did you hear Rick the other day on that video? He calls this the do re mi scale. And I don't care what you say. That's what I call it. So learn the do re mi scale on the psaltery. Very easy. If you're playing in the key of C, start on one C where you have a full octave above it, play to the next C and back down. There's your do re mi scale. So that's where we're going to start when we're learning to play some songs, and I'm going to give you examples in the next video as far as how to go about that process and finding the process of finding the notes that you play. I can give you a hint on that. It's kind of like I type on a computer keyboard with my one or two fingers, and I hunt and peck. I have to look and find the letters to. That's why some of my emails end up looking so bad. But I do the same thing on the psaltery. Hunt and peck. I play a few notes, and if what I hear is what I'm after, I'll move on with the song. Sometimes I have to find that first note of the song. If a song's written in the key of C, or if I'm wanting to pick it out in the key of C, the first note of the song may not be C. Most of the time, it's the last note of the song is going to be C, but the first note of the song may not be a C. So we have to find out where that is, and in the next videos we will go through finding or about how to find the notes that we need for the song that we're learning. So we'll talk about that in the next video. I'm gonna go see what Coco's barking at. See you next time.